We come here wrapped in riddles, souls bound by ancient thread, not to perfect love, but to remember it. Through laughter, through the mess, through the parts of ourselves we tried to exile and silence. This isn't about saving each other. It's about softening the sword, trading judgment for joy, and meeting the mirror without flinching. If you've forgotten how to dance when the darkness sings, laugh. If you've locked your heart behind clever barbed wire, love anyway. And if you're wondering why the connection still burns through lifetimes and distance, it's because the vow was never broken. It was only waiting for you to grow into it. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Enlightened Heart Soul Connection. This morning, this feels like the Divine Feminine is remembering why she loves. Not just emotionally, but spiritually. She's softening. Not to chase, but to honor the vow by transmuting the pain and holding space for true union, not codependence. So what I'm looking at here is the card Laugh at Your Demons. And this card is all about dissolving the illusions that block love. It's literally about recognizing the ego and laughing at it. But I'm also looking at the card from the Seeker Oracle, which I told you yesterday I was going to pull out because I do love this deck. But I'm looking at the card Grow Together. And reading the guidebook, this card is all about a call to consciously co-create, not just coexist. And the bridge that's holding these two together is the ring. This connection isn't random. It's eternal. It's karmic. And it's bound by a higher vow. Even if ego forgets, the soul still remembers. The tarot cards on the table tell a story. We've got the Three of Voices here. We've got some kind of heartbreak. A heartbreak that has split the mind and created sadness because a door was closed. Whether we closed that door or our masculine closed that door, either way, with the Eight of Voices, it has put us into a headspace that has created a trap. The door was closed and we became trapped. Our mental faculties, while we may have been strong before and very strong in our way of thinking, this is a heartbreak that has crushed us and created chaos and distress. But the Empress and the Queen of Materials both also came out. So this is a woman, this is a feminine who is healed and healing, because foundationally what we have here is the Five of Inspiration and the Five of Emotions. We got left out in the cold and we had to compete with our mirror. I'm looking at the mirror here on the Five of Inspiration, and this is our twin flame. This is our twin flame reflecting back on us, and because we're so caught up in the emotion and the passion from the emotions, we're not seeing the mirror for what it really is. The Queen of Inspiration here tells me that we've been We've been in a state of passionate feminine energy. You know, this is the queen of inspiration. This is, a woman who is charismatic. This is, a woman who's willing to wield her wand and create through her passion. But we've been broken. The star comes out next, and we're still talking about the cards at the bottom of the deck. The star comes out next. This tells me that, we've been healing. And we've definitely been healing our mind. We're ready to pour out our love, whether it be to our current masculine or somebody new, but we're stepping into this healing and we're giving it space. We took our inspiration and we took our passion, and collectively we put it together, and we are recognizing that we are the author of our own story, that we create what happens next, that this story is all about us, ourselves. Being able to reconnect with our intuition and our higher self. That's what this whole mess is all about. And then we have the wheel. And this wheel, this is the transition point. This is where we turn our fate up on its head and we start fixing the damage that was done to us. We've done the shadow work, and now we're changing our story. And that brought us into this beautiful energy of the Empress, this Empress is creating worlds. She is birthing. She's literally birthing creation. Queen of Materials right next to it. Nurturing our foundations and nurturing our manifestations. So we cannot be in this Empress energy without first recognizing our ego. And I have a friend who likes to call the ego our body. Our body is the vessel that holds our ego. Our ego essentially is our mind. The 8 of voices and the 3 of voices, this is closing the door on our intuition and being trapped inside our own head. Overthinking, overstimulated, over everything, overachieving. Look at the 5 of inspiration. We're overachieving and we're getting lost. We have gotten lost in the healing. I sense this collective is gotten lost in the healing, and we've closed the door to our heart. And if you were really, really paying attention to the poem, if you've locked your heart behind clever barbed wire, and that's what I'm looking at here with the 3 of voices. Love anyway. Take the joy that you're cultivating for yourself in the Empress and laugh at your ego. Because now we have the card grow together. I mean, this is about your divine masculine. And whether this be internal or external, because let's face it, we all have an internal divine masculine and an internal divine feminine. We have two sides of our brain. We have the analytical left side, and then we have the creative right side of our brains. Or I'm sorry, the other way around. Right brain, left brain, creative, right brain, analytical. We've gotten lost somehow in the analytical side of things. But we're being asked to grow together. We're being asked to balance our internal world so that way we can have balance in our external world, because as above, so below, as within, so without. And we got the ring that is bridging this whole thing. There is a sacred vow, a sacred promise, a contract that was signed before we came here to Earth this time. And I'm sensing two people who got lost. Two people that got lost. And it's not random. You want to know why? Why you can't let your masculine go? Why you can't walk away? It's because there was a promise made before you ever entered this current body that you're in. So, ladies, as we're coming out of this ego death and we're laughing at our bullshit, it's important that we remember the ring, remember the vow, remember the contract. And I'm looking at this ring, and this ring is a portal to a new universe. And it starts with the root. There's a lot of red and a lot of yellow and a lot of orange. This tells me that it starts with our lower chakras. And this is where the masculine energy is held. The feminine energy is held from the heart through the crown, where the masculine is held from the root to the sacral, solar plexus, root to the solar plexus.
Good morning. It's Monday, April 21st.
So when we come into sacred union with our divine masculine, what happens is we connect through the heart chakra. And from the heart chakra, the Kundalini is able to connect all the chakras up and down. And as these chakras open, it's an amazing experience to be able to feel all of that energy moving through our body up and down. It's vibration. It's a buzzing. And when it happens through connecting in a very, I'm going to say a sacred way, and I want you to understand that I'm actually talking about the contact, the friction, the under the sheets, hot summer, sweaty, when that Kundalini opens up. When all of the chakras open and the Kundalini is able to move through them, it's life altering. We're being asked to remember. So what I have here is the King of Swords. That's our masculine. He's He's sitting with an owl and a crow, both messengers. He has his sword in his hand, not wielding but resting. He sat his sword down because now he's just the embodiment of wisdom. Why has our masculine... Well, actually, let's find out what else. Yeah, the Hermit. Our masculine has been in a state of self-reflection. Because of that self-reflection, he can now look very deeply also at this connection. The Ace of Cups and the Knight of Swords. He's thinking about how he can come to his feminine with a love offer, a new beginning. Can we repair the relationship that's been broken, the relationship that put us in that Three of Swords energy? And let me tell you, girls, we put ourselves there. We do things. Let's talk about this for a minute. We do things to hurt our own feelings. So I can only... Oh, and we've got the Star again at the bottom. And the Page of Swords. We'll talk about this in a minute. I'm going to tell you a story because we can only give advice to others through this this particular set of rules. Hold on, please. This is what life is all about. Life is about being able to relate to certain situations. And through that relation, friction happens. And friction is not a bad thing. Friction is a good thing. When we're relating to our partner, that friction can be amazing. Creation happens in the friction. When I started channeling the Cosmic Heart, I heard very clearly, out of chaos comes order. Friction. So we relate. There's friction. And then we repeat. It's a constant state. This is the cycle with every relationship. And my relationship with this divine feminine collective, you know, I might ruffle some feathers, but I need to tell you this story. So in the process of me letting go of Adam, I had already packed the majority of the things that I was going to be taking with me. I had my tarot table packed up, washed my tablecloth, all the placemats, all my tapestries that I usually keep here in front of me. I washed everything, folded it, put it away. I've got to get my kitchen clean today, and I'm currently sitting in a chaotic mess because I need to bring order back to this space. But I had been watching for about 2 weeks the man who used to be the love of my life completely fracture. I was very afraid that he went into some kind of schizophrenic break. About 3 weeks ago, he came home from being gone for about 3 days. And when he came home, he was telling me these fantastic, and when I say fantastic, I mean it not in a good way. He was telling me these fantastic tales about how he had been in town buying dope. The kids were in the car with him, but sadly, the children, all of them were all here that night on the couch doing their thing that, young adults do. These kids are 17, 18, 19 years old, and they were here with me all night. They had been here with me for the week. They were never with him. He picked up, and this is the story he told me, he picked up my oldest daughter, who's not even here in this state. She's 4 states away. My son, who at the time was, living around the corner, and he probably wouldn't have touched Adam with a 10-foot pole at this point, because he's still, and it was worse then, but he was still in a state of anger because his girlfriend had been kicked out of our house. So to make a long story short-ish, when he got home from being gone all those days, he clearly was hallucinating, and it took almost a week for him to get the drug out of his system that caused this collapse. I watched him slowly get better as the week went on, and he admitted to me finally that he was using fentanyl and he was trying to die. My mind was already made up, though my heart was breaking. I hadn't yet understood where his mind was, and I had not even put the puzzle pieces together yet that he and I are connected in such a deep way that there's no getting out of this relationship. I had not put 2 and 2 together yet. So fast forward about 2 weeks, and he goes on another tangent. His car broke down. I was so concerned that he was going to kill himself in an automobile accident. And then I got, my worst fear realized. He hit the median going over the bridge. There's a bridge that connects, it goes over the Albemarle, intercoastal waterway. So he was going over that bridge, and when he got to the bottom of the bridge, he lost control, the front end of his car, and he hit the median. Thank God it happened at the end of the bridge, right in front of we have a mutual friend, a very dear friend of mine, right in front of her husband's automobile repair shop, the garage. Basically, what had happened was a couple days prior, he had replaced the wheel hub assembly, the CV axle, and the studs on the wheel assembly that hold the tire on broke. He lost his wheel, and the car was fucked. For lack of better wording, I don't know how else to say it. Anyway, he came home. He managed to get a ride home that night. Or during the day, but the details don't matter. He came home, he told me what happened, and I'm still like, oh well. So what I had been doing for about 8 weeks was making a phone call to my friend Gary where I was going to live. And me and Gary were going to start a new relationship. We loved each other. We still love each other. God, we love each other so much. But Adam didn't understand, and I still kind of don't think that he understands, but at least now I do. Anyway, this was around April 1st. So he got it fixed and then he was gone again. Well, one night he came home and he decided that he was going to get into bed with me and, he was going to actually sleep. And we, this whole time we've been sharing a bed together, but he very rarely was coming in the house to share that space with me anymore. We had one night of a bad sexual encounter where, I was in the mood to connect. And he came so hard and strong, and I never got mine. And I laid there and I was like, I'm going to fucking kill myself. I can't do this anymore. I have to have an orgasm. And I was very disappointed and fucking heartbroken. And I was talking to Gary about it. And I'm like, you know what? I'm done. I can't do this anymore with him. So I made a promise to not sleep with him anymore. And that just led to more drugs. It led to more heartbreak. I still didn't understand what was going on with this man, but the divine masculine got separated from the divine feminine in that moment. And he went AWOL. Well, the night that he slept in the bed with me, I was out here in the kitchen at 4:00 in the morning, and something told me to open his phone. The night before, while he was waiting for his bath water to heat up, he fell asleep because of the fentanyl. He just passed out, and he passed out on my side of the bed, and my daughter had taken a picture of it, and I was laying on the bed, and he was passed out on the floor next to me, and I looked at that picture that she sent me, and it just started to wake something up within me. So I went, his phone was still at the end of the bed. I opened up his phone and there was a text message there that absolutely broke me. It broke me. He'd been talking to another woman, and through reading these text messages, I find out that he slept with her. And I was done. I cried and I cried and I was angry and I was shattered and I didn't know what to do. We had promised each other that we were not going to sleep with other people until we were no longer living together, and he broke that promise. I broke my own heart. Had I never opened that text message and read the things that I read, the words that he was saying to her, the words that were meant for me were being given to another woman. And I was angry at her because how dare you sleep with a man, even though he says that he's done in his relationship? How dare you sleep with a man who is still living with his ex? If they're still living in the same house together, sharing space, sharing food, sharing responsibility of the kids, until one of them is gone, you have no business doing what you did. I was angry. But I wasn't angry at him. I understood. I was not angry at him. And this softening This softening to my masculine is what started me on this whole path of going from the new beginnings and leaving, and where I said that this space, this table, was no longer going to be where I would be sitting to do these videos. I began to soften. So what we have here is the page of swords now, and the star. The king, the knight, the page. This page of swords, this is educating ourselves. With the star, they came out together. We're learning how to heal. We're learning about true healing. True healing. And true healing comes through recognizing that this journey is about us, not them. They have their own journey that they have to go through. We're learning how to hold space. And we had to wake up first. So let's see. What else can we tell the collective about this? The world. All right. The world. We're closing cycles and the moon. Oh, fuck. Okay. The Ace of Swords. The Knight of Cups, death and rebirth. And the Ace of Wands. I'll take all of those. Okay. So here's what's happening, that we're closing cycles. With the moon, we've got the two wolves howling at the moon, and we've got the feminine sinking into the waters of our emotions. And the moon is like the thing that causes the tides. It's the gravitational force that causes the tides to come and go. And if we look at, look at it that way, what the moon is the anchor for our emotions. And women, we go through cycles monthly, but we also go through weekly cycles where our body is the vessel of our emotions. And as we go through our monthly cycle, that includes weekly cycles of changes within our body. And that means that our emotions are also constantly changing. And what had happened for me is I began to listen to the words of this man who I love with my whole soul. And he had been telling me for years that I pulled away, that I made him feel less than, that I made him feel like shit, and he's not wrong. He's not wrong. So I fell into this void of my emotions, and I had to somehow figure out how to navigate why I was feeling the way that I was feeling. And I made a decision that day to tell my friend that we could no longer talk in the capacity that we were talking, that I had to be able to hold space for Adam, to repair a friendship that possibly was broken, and I did not want to lose this man from my life. The last thing I wanted was for him to be gone. Ace of Swords. It was the truth. I saw the truth through the illusion. Knight of Cups. In this truth is an offer for love. I literally went through a death and a rebirth in seconds. I talked about this yesterday. It was horrifyingly scary. It happened so fast. I saw every moment that I pushed him away. Every moment that I said, fuck you, I am not putting up with your shit. Everything that I saw as being codependent was just a man who was trying to anchor his woman. And I was so hard in my masculine energy that I could not hold space for him. And this is our rebirth. This is our rebirth into submitting to our man, but not submitting in a codependent way, not submitting in an abusive way. This is submitting, this is softening. This is holding space for their healing. This is becoming the Ace of Wands. This is becoming the spiritual leader within the relationship, because there was a vow made. According to the cosmic heart, we are all twins. We're all reflections of each other. The cosmic heart wanted to remind us that every single person on this planet has the capacity to be a twin flame for everyone else. And I'm looking at the world card here as we're completing cycles, and I'm remembering when you, feminine, are able to light up your Merkaba. And this is long before a Kundalini awakening ever happens. When you're able to light up your Merkaba and you can connect with another person and your two Merkabas can come together. Even if the masculine's Merkaba is a little bit broken, healing happens through us holding space. And that's why we had to heal first. As those two Merkabas merge in divine union, even though they have a slightly broken, it's off kilter, it's not spinning properly, but now we're merged. So your light can heal theirs. And as the masculine's Merkaba, as his light body is beginning to heal through this union, because you've softened, you're now holding space for him to be the masculine. As their Merkaba starts to repair itself, the union between the two Merkabas become the Tesseract. The Tesseract expands our auric field so big that it reaches out into the community. And what doesn't look like the norm for people? And guess what? This relationship's not normal. This relationship was 6 years of him being married and me living on my own, but still sharing space. Being the secret, being the mistress. You know, that's how this relationship started. I called him a narcissistic, abusive drug addict for years, and I continued to push him away because I was embarrassed that I was in a relationship with a man like this, and his addiction got worse the harder I pushed. And I threatened to leave, and I kicked him out, and I threatened to kick him out, and I was every day kicking him out. And when we moved here to where we're at now, it became, you get out, Naoma, because this is my house. You get out. I can't deal with you anymore. You're an asshole. You're a bitch. You're whatever. You're going to say that this is ours. It's all ours. I didn't want it to be ours. I wanted it to be mine and his. We're not married. I'm not wearing a ring. But you know what? Guess what? Common law says we are married. And it should have been ours all along. But I was so hard-headed and stubborn to not see the forest through the trees, to not see that I was wrong. I was wrong to be in my masculine energy, and I went through all this healing, and I kept the healing secret, and it should have never been. should have never been. So laugh at your demons and grow together. Every time your ego says that you can do it on your own, don't forget that you have a masculine out there who wants to do it with you. And let's get one final message. One more. Hush. Listen. Listen. Listen to your intuition. Listen to your masculine. This card says, there are times when we choose not to listen to what's being said. We judge the person we're speaking to, believing ourselves to be more knowledgeable, and as a result, our words fall upon deaf ears. It is important not to allow our ego and biases to influence the continuity of a conversation. Hush. Listen. Our greatest teachers sometimes appear to us in a form that's not expected. Wondrous opportunities can come from a chance conversation with someone that we've judged unfairly. At other times, a person may offer an opinion or unsolicited advice we disagree with, and the conversation devolves into an argument. We dismiss what's being said and demand to be heard. Once that happens, we're too busy defending or attacking to listen to what's being said. Hush. Listen. Disagreeing does not invalidate someone's point or make it unworthy of our attention. The words might be confronting, but that does not make them untrue or undeserving of further exploration. Put aside preconceived notions and look at the situation from a fresh perspective. Be empathetic. You might find that you're both right, but coming at the heart of the issue from different angles. You might also discover a genuine problem that needs to be addressed. So see the good in others. Trust that their intentions are pure. You don't have to heed their advice or guidance, but they're worthy of being heard. There will also be times when we find ourselves multitasking, not only talking, but doing several other things at the same time. Hush. Listen. To listen properly, you need to put everything else aside and give your complete attention. Finally, there are times when we make the conversation all about us and fail to give anyone else the chance to speak. Remember, a conversation involves two people. Give others the same opportunity to share as you would ask for yourself. Sometimes it serves us better to hear than be heard. And alternatively, I'm going to tell you, just shut the fuck up. Just shut up. We don't know everything. And our masculines have been trying to tell us what they need. So, you want to grow together? You need to listen to them. I love you guys, and I guess I'll catch you on the next reading. Toodles!